Left Wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat.
Welcome to the Left Wing King podcast. Today we're exploring the mind of a certified lunatic, Donald J. Trump. We're going to discuss some specific examples of Donald Trump's cognitive decline that can no longer be ignored and should immediately disqualify him to serve as president of the United States. I am your HMIC, your head moderator in charge, Malik, and I'm joined today by King Ace.
What up, what up?
King Steve.
What's up?
And Queen Tina could have been here, but she's having a few problems, so it's just us three for the day. We're going to try to manage those comments the best that we can, all right? Let's get it cracking. Now, regardless of where you stand politically, it's hard to deny that over the years, Donald Trump's rhetoric, his behavior, and his mental acuity have been going downhill pretty fucking fast. His mental faculties have been called into question by his critics, by commentators, and even his former allies, like Kelly, for example. Mm-hmm. Now, given the immense responsibility of the position that Donald Trump wants to hold, it's crucial for us to assess his mental fitness. And we're going to start off by talking about one of his favorite things to do, the weave.
Mm-hmm. We ain't talking about hair weave either.
No, we ain't talking about that. Yeah. Trump has a tendency to descend into long, meandering word salads that appear to lack coherence. He lovingly calls this the weave. It began during his presidency and got worse post-presidency. Ace, how does the weave interfere with Donald Trump's ability to make coherent executive decisions?
I mean, he calls it the weave, man, but we call it deflecting and bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Can't make no decisions, man, if you're on that. Makes it seem like you don't know what he's talking about most of the time because he's all over the place. You know what I'm saying? When he's talking about stuff. So that's a cute name for it, the weave or whatever, but it's basically him being all over the place and deflecting the fact that he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that a lot of that comes from his media experience. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, it is a deflection thing. He has enough wherewithal to understand, I don't understand none of this shit. I don't know what the hell is going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just talk a lot and people will believe whatever I say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But people will be like, oh, well, he knows what he's talking about. He's talking about his policies. He ain't talked about his policies. He didn't talk about everything else.
Yeah. I mean, he's, like I said, that, and it's right now. He's been doing it so long. We just expect that. You know what I'm saying? I think the reporters don't even challenge him enough on that. When they try to, he's always on that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So, I won't say it. He hasn't been able to make executive decisions and do things because, one, he don't know what he's talking about. But two, I honestly don't think he gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So, be honest with you. So,
yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I'm kind of like, put it this way, man. As a president, you're going to be in a room. Everything you do is not in public.
No.
You're going to be in a room with Putin or,
your cabinet, shit.
Or your cabinet. Or like, maybe he goes to North Korea again or some shit. You can't be talking to a leader of another country and just throwing up words and shit in front of him when you're trying to discuss something that's important or something that you need to work together to do. If you all over the place, you start off talking about like, hey, how we're going to work together to do like energy, and you end up at the end of your comment talking about, freaking cleaning out a toilet bowl. You know what I'm saying? You went from A to Z like that. They don't understand what the fuck you want. I don't know what you want, bro. I don't know what you're saying because you're all over the place. So you can't make executive decisions or be in an executive setting when you can't have a focused, like laser focused conversation with someone so that they understand exactly what the fuck you mean and what you're trying to say.
Hell, you can't do that at home with your wife.
No.
Be all over the place. You can't go home and be all over the place talking about shit.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So you talking about sitting down with leaders and making decisions, it's going to affect the world and affect millions of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You with your cabinet, like you said.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an excuse and a crock of shit just to honestly say that he don't know what he's talking about.
Exactly.
And he's not qualified for the job. He never has been. You know what I'm saying? Great entertainer. I'm saying, and that's what he's playing on. He'll sit there and entertain you. Like I was looking at him a couple of days ago. I said, he's a funny motherfucker. I mean, I'm up there laughing at him. See, but unfortunately, I don't need my president to be a goddamn comedian.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And entertain me like that. You know what I'm saying? But and that's part of the weave bullshit, like you said. His experience of being in media and in entertainment. He's just a better way to say it is fake it till you make it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, I think it's exactly what you said. It's not the weave. It's the excuse. Mm-hmm. It's his excuse for his inability to stay focused on a particular topic. Imagine if you was at work and your boss said, where are those spreadsheets I needed? And your ass said, well, boss, yesterday my foot itched. And so when my foot started itching, I started scratching all over my damn foot. But you know what? There's a problem with athlete's foot in America. America has a big problem, and we got to get these immigrants out of here because they're bringing the athlete's foot to us. Yeah. And that's what's causing all of the abortion. Because abortion is wrong, sir. Yeah, my boss be like, where the fuck's the spreadsheet at, nigga?
Yeah, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But
like
that's exactly how it goes.
Why? This nigga, how you can trust somebody? These people see him do this. You want this man making decisions, executive decisions, and being the final say in a decision for something that's going to affect you and other countries? This guy who can't tell you specifically what the fuck he's trying to say and make a point?
Other countries are already starting to react to that, though. You already have countries moving away from seeing America as the leader of the free world because they see, okay, these people will elect somebody like Donald Trump. 2 presidents before that, they elected George W. Bush. Mm-hmm. And they thought that was as bad as America was.
He ain't got nothing on Trump.
We thought Bush was going to ruin the world. That was like, this motherfucker came along. It was like, goddamn.
Yeah, hold my beer.
Hold my beer. You want to see me fuck some shit up? Here you go.
He ain't got shit on
What the hell is Bush? You ain't heard shit from Bush at all. You know what I'm saying? Bush did his thing and got on.
Bush is like, look, see, y'all was talking
Even
about
Bush
me.
don't fuck with this motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's a different thing, though, because at least Bush was, I think in his mind, he was trying to do the right thing. Trump doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
The lack of regard for anything. And you can look at how he deals with policy. He was so pro-life. Now that he sees that pro-life isn't popular, well, I'm giving people a choice. You're not giving people a choice. You're giving people a choice in certain places. And places like Texas, we don't got a choice. Yeah. But again, that's that lack of forward thinking. And rather than to call it a cognitive decline, I don't think he was cognitively there in the first place.
He was gone when he started.
I don't know about that. I think that he was a lot. You can see the difference between when he was president and now. I think it's pretty clear. Like, he was leaps and bounds ahead of like Joe Biden's decline, right? And at some point, he's always said crazy shit, but that doesn't mean you have a cognitive decline. What I see is his inability to stay focused. That is a cognitive problem. And before he even though he didn't have shit to say, he stayed on topic. You know what I'm saying? Now he can't do that anymore. And that to me is a clear and obvious sign something is wrong with this man's brain.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that part is true.
We leaned heavily on Biden when we were talking about cognition and all that and being it. I mean, we went hard.
We gave him the business.
And we act like Trump wasn't right there with his ass. We knew he's just as old as this motherfucker.
He wasn't. Okay, that's...
I know
we always talk about this. Old is not the same as your cognitive decline. They're two different things.
We talking about where he's at right now. We're still 2 old motherfuckers, is what I'm saying.
That's true.
So we lean. I mean, okay, Biden. Okay, he did his thing. Whatever. He's out the race. But at the same time, Trump was right there with him. So now we're talking about where he's at. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's almost like, and I always thought, we always gave him a pass when it came to that because he was the better out of the old guys. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's cool, but he's still an old ass guy.
I think you're right.
You know
but at the end of the day, this is what Biden did and this is what Trump did. Biden, because he already had a speech impediment, he talked slower.
Yeah.
He was more measured with his words, and a lot of times it looked kind of like he was older because he had a softer voice. Trump is real loud and he talks fast, but He's talking loud and talking fast, saying crazy shit.
Yeah.
So it's not, a matter of fact, I would say it's worse because Biden had understanding of things that Trump never had understanding of.
Okay, of course.
So you're talking about somebody, okay, well, yeah, Biden could lose 10 steps and still be far ahead of Trump as far as understanding foreign policy, as far as understanding domestic policy, as far as understanding decorum, those types of things. He doesn't understand any of that.
Yeah.
Or if he does understand it, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't follow laws. He trips. You know, I don't even got words, man. Look, he making me have cognitive decline.
Hey, I feel you on that because, you know, he dude is off his damn rocker and he crazy as hell, but don't nothing top his dance moves. And that's what we're going to talk about
All
next.
right, here we go with this shit.
On October 14th, during a town hall in Oaks, Pennsylvania, after 2 attendees fainted, Trump said, "Let's not do any more questions. Let's just listen to music." Then, Trump did his best impression of the Soul Train line as he danced and swayed to some of his favorite fucking oldies for the next 39 fucking minutes. All right? Steve, is starting a dance party at the first sign of a crisis a clear sign of mental decline?
I'm a musician, nigga. I was there for it. What you talking about? Look, he wasn't gonna say shit anyway. Everybody know he wasn't gonna say shit anyway. At least if they have some good music, at least motherfuckers could do something. Get your get down on or whatever. He wasn't gonna say nothing. Everybody know he wasn't gonna say nothing. He knew he wasn't gonna say nothing. He wasn't gonna say shit anyway. Let's be real. He was gonna do the word salad that you were saying before.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, look, he did better standing up there dancing, looking like a fucking idiot, because he was looking like an idiot, but he didn't say nothing. And it's what they say: better to be silent and remain a fool than to speak and remove all doubt.
Okay. I think I agree with that.
Yeah, man. I mean, Trump and his dancing, bro, just it's what it is. Bill Maher makes fun of him, talking about he looks like he up there jerking off 2 guys at the same time and shit.
Look, damn. Look, has Bill Maher seen that shit? I don't know what that looks like, yo.
Look, watch Trump's dance move and shit. He be doing that shit. It looks like he's jerking off 2 dudes at the same time and shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's what it is. Hey, yeah, I mean, you know, I guess he's just trying to have fun and do whatever and get his bass pumped up, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just funny that people even letting him play music. Most people are suing him because they don't want him playing his music. And shit.
True.
Especially the Village people, considering they're,
Yes.
you know,
That was
the
weird.
gayest group in the world, man.
Are they still living though? I mean, that's
Yeah, but is somebody getting them residuals?
Yeah, somebody getting them residuals, and them niggas was gay. You know,
and
so
he against all of that shit.
yeah.
Supposedly,
So how are you going to be playing the Village people and you Trump, nigga?
Hey,
I
look,
mean, how does that work?
The village people just want the rotations, man. They want them
I
royalty
guess.
checks,
I
man.
guess
I'm
so.
pretty sure they get a lot of rotation, but I mean, I'm gonna say this, man. People fainted. There was a medical emergency going on.
Mm-hmm.
Your go-to is let's dance, nigga.
How about let's just take a break?
That's
He
your
could have walked
go-to.
out. Yeah, he could have
Nigga,
walked on
this
stage and
nigga-
said, "Until this is done, you know, we're gonna take a break so the first responders
Bro.
can take care of these people." That would have
Who
been
does
logical.
that? That's my point. It's not fucking logical, bro. I don't care if he wasn't gonna say nothing or not. Nigga, you just play the game. Play the game.
Yeah.
This motherfucker here, his go-to is, oh shit, some motherfuckers fainted. Music.
Okay, real
Let's
talk.
dance, motherfuckers.
Cue the DJ.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I was playing when I said, you know,
I
what
know,
I said
but
at first,
still, but damn.
you know, at
Come
the end
on,
of the
bro.
day,
Something's wrong with this man.
Those types of things, though, that's a lack of decision making. That's a lack of decision
Yes.
making. You know, on the spot decision making. So
Yes.
if you can't make an on the spot decision when 2 people faint, well, then how are you going to make an on the spot decision when something happens, when there's a missile crisis, when there's a terrorist attack, when there's a bombing somewhere overseas? He doesn't think well on his feet.
Exactly.
Now, he comes up with stuff to say on his feet very well. But again, just like the previous topic, it's word salad, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this, And when he does come up with something, it's never a good idea. It's never a good idea.
And I'm going to say this, man, to your point, Steve, I think it's very well stated. One caveat to that, a lot of the times as the president, he's not going to have to make split-second decisions like he had to make right then and there. I'll give him that, right? You should have a cabinet of people who are going to help you make the right decision. The problem is he has gone from picking people who would challenge him and help him make the right decision to people who will just say yes to anything he says. So if he fucking says, let's dance, then y'all gonna dance.
There you go, with that fucking move and shit.
Nobody wants to challenge him in the new Trump cabinet. You heard what he said. He wants generals that do whatever the fuck he says. He wants people that do whatever the fuck he says. So to your point, Steve, yeah, he's not a good decision maker. End of story. And that's because his brain's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's definitely surrounding himself with a whole bunch of yes men. That's where he's going with it. He's doing that not only there, but not only around him, but he's going to do it in in your local jurisdictions when he's talking about people in who's determining voting. You know what I'm saying? He wants somebody he can call up and say do this, and they're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's part of his crazy that we're going to be dealing with right now. So
yeah, he's encouraging crazy all the way down the line. If you listen to the things that he's talking about with the Department of Education and everything, he thinks ignorant as fuck, and he's like, okay, the rest of America needs to think ignorant as fuck too. How you gonna dismantle the Department of Education? And I could even understand if somebody said, you know what, I don't like a lot of the things that the Department of Education is doing. Okay, we can agree to disagree on that, but totally dismantling, in my opinion, that is the Department of Education and the Department of Defense, two most important departments. If you don't got people who are educated, then you will never have a strong country. Okay? You got to have education and defense. And he can't dismantle the Department of Defense, but what he is doing is he's messing up our military alliances. He's messing with NATO and everything. Everything that is really crucially important, he is going to screw up. And people are worried about the economy, but they don't realize most of what happens in the economy doesn't have anything to do with the president.
Well, I mean, he's screwing everything up. He's a crazy fucking nut butt. Okay, and what's not crazy is clicking the like button. So
that was coming.
If you're enjoying this conversation, please like this video, and also make sure that you subscribe to Left Wing Kingz and share this content on all of your social media platforms. Now, you talked about some things that he's trying to do, and you also talked about some things he's trying to do and the impact of those things if he gets them done. But that all leads to the next topic. Like, he's trying to do everything because he thinks he's the expert of every fucking thing. All right? If you let Donald Trump tell it, he knows more about every topic than anyone else, and no one is smarter than he is. Ace, why is Trump thinking he's the expert on everything one of his biggest problems?
I mean, we all got a friend like that, man. A one-upper, man. This motherfucker, anything you do, he done did it better already. We got that partner friends, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know that guy, and that's who Trump is. I mean, once again, it's just lies in with all of the nonsense he comes up with. One, you can't know everything and be an expert at everything. But two, for you to tell me that you know everything is just a crock of shit. Once again, he's the con man president. When it's all said and done, that's what's going to write it down. So part of his game is, hey, well, no, I'm the best at that. I'm the greatest at that. The question is, why are we taking that shit at face value? You know what I'm saying? Well, not all of us, but some of us are. Like, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? You definitely ain't at crisis management, because when COVID came out,
nope,
a shitload of people died over that shit. You know what I'm saying?
And when people faint, you tell them to dance.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And all that kind of shit. It comes back to the fact that I tell people, end of the day, end of story, if you like Trump, you don't like Trump, one thing we know and we can agree that he cannot do is govern and make decisions, big-time decisions when it comes to governing people. He's not able to do that. Anything that we've come up that needed a good decision that was going to be the best for a lot of people, he always thought about himself when it came to it. It's just part of his narcissistic personality to say, "Hey, man, I'm an expert at everything," or they can say anything. He can say, "Man, Black history. Oh yeah, no shit. I'm the best in Black history and shit." Shit, you know, I'm number one and shit. You know,
Yeah.
I know everything about Black history.
Yeah.
When he didn't even know people's names and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
That's another sign of his cognitive decline. He
Yeah.
can't. He don't even get names right.
yeah. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's another sign of his, you know, crock of bullshit. And, you know, when things are coming out of his mouth. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in addition, I think that him thinking that he knows everything when the experts really do come to him with crucial information,
Yep.
he's so arrogant, he disregards it.
Yep.
And you can see that just like you were saying with COVID with Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Dr. Fauci would be sitting there listening to him trying not to pull his hair out when he'd be talking about ingesting bleach and freaking figuring out how to get sunlight into your body and the crazy bullshit he said during COVID. You can't. He thought that he knew everything, and it's kind of like, okay, you think you know everything, but you know less than people who are in middle school, dude.
Basically.
You know less.
6th graders.
Yeah. You know, when you talk about geography and everything, you listen to this dude talk, and he sounds like he failed that shit in high school. How the fuck you end up president, partner? How you end up to be president? I don't like. Yeah. And it's one thing to be arrogant and think you know everything and be extremely knowledgeable, but he don't know much of nothing. Like I said, the people who say, "Oh, well, I mean, you can't defend that."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't you know, it's just, it baffles me when it comes to like Trump and people that kind of like follow him religiously. I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like plain and simple. And just, you know, and you know, I just don't, you know, we're talking about him being cognitive and things like that, but it comes down to, you know, this dude's running for president. You know what I'm saying? And how do we get into a position where we got a guy that don't know nothing, acts like he knows everything, he's arrogant, he doesn't listen to his experts, and puts us in a bad position, and this dude is still in the capability to running for president and be in the position he is. How do we get there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And most crucially, most of the people who have worked with him closely are not endorsing him. So when you say that you know everything, but your cabinet members, your generals are like, "Oh, no, partner, you don't know shit. As a matter of fact, you know so little, I'm going to torch my political career to make sure you don't get elected again." That's how little you know.
Yeah. For real.
And that's a lot, because you have people who are hardcore Republicans, been Republicans their whole life, and they're going to torch their career because it is so important for them to let folks know this dude doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Yeah. And then what he turns around and does is say, well, they didn't do a very good job. Well, partner, if they didn't do a very good job, well, then why is it you keep hiring people who you think, quote unquote, didn't do a good job?
Yeah.
Because he had the highest turnover rate of any president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not a good identifier of talent, or, you know, these people were good, like you said they were, and they noticed that you weren't. All right. And the trend that we're seeing is that most people are saying that you weren't good, bro. But to your point about, like, you know, his being an expert on everything and why that is a bad thing, why that's a problem, I think you hit the first thing that I was thinking of, is that if you're the expert on everything, when the people in the room who are experts come in to say shit, you don't value their opinion because you think you know more than they do. Mm-hmm. And you start to disregard shit, and that could impact people in a bad way. You could be hurting a lot of people. It did. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And because you think you know better than a fucking expert who has a degree and has worked 20-something years in the field, you think you know more than this motherfucker? That's wrong. And then the second thing that it makes me think about is the boy who cried wolf. Mm-hmm. The more you say you're the expert, motherfucker, every time you say you're the expert, really? People start to not believe that you're the expert on anything, even the things that you might be. there might be an important thing around infrastructure and real estate.
I was gonna say hair gel and shit.
You know what I'm saying? Or motherfucking spray tan. You know what I'm saying? You know spray tan, nigga. So if somebody start asking about spray tan and how it's good or bad, you might have an opinion. The motherfuckers be like, man, you say that about, you say you know more about everything than anybody about every fucking topic. Nigga, you's a lie. We don't believe you. You know what I'm saying? And so people like me who think he's crazy, maybe he is saying something true at that time, but I'm not going to believe him because you can't be the expert on everything and say that you are, because people then start to think you're full of bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to say, we've all worked for that boss that thinks he knows everything. And we watched them just burn the house down or whatever company we was in. Like, all right, look at this dumb motherfucker right here. You know, he thinks he knows everything. I'm going to sit back and watch. Good luck. Yeah. How many people working for Trump saying the same goddamn thing? All right, you know everything, right? You think you Mr. Know-It-All. Yeah. I bet you Fauci did that shit. Like, okay, all right. I mean, no, I'm telling you, but you going to do what you going to do. Good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? So we all been there, man. So that's what that trait of him brings out. It brings out that type of resentment in the workforce also. Where he knows it all.
I wonder if like, I mean, he says he's the expert on everything, but I wonder if he really is the expert on Arnold Palmer's genitalia. That's what we're gonna talk about next.
Jesus,
because this motherfucker's Looney Tunes, nigga. On October 19th, during a rally in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump praised Arnold Palmer's genitalia. Trump said, when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there and they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. Steve, why the hell is the former president and current presidential nominee talking about Arnold Palmer's eggplant, and should we be concerned?
I think that was his appeal to the LGBTQ community, just showing that he likes penis and that he was good. You know, he was good with it. He liked Arnold Palmer. He thought it was cool. You know, but I don't think it worked. I don't think it landed very well. No, but for real, this is what it shows. It shows that he has a lack of filter.
Oh yeah,
he has a lack of filter. He doesn't understand when something is inappropriate. It's not appropriate for a president to be talking about something, or a presidential candidate, or a former president, because he is a former president. So even if he was just a candidate, he's still, you can't say stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And he says stuff like that constantly. You know, he's constantly saying something, and it's like, did he just say that? To the point where the public is desensitized. And it's unfortunate because I think earlier this week I heard Van Jones say that Harris is expected to be flawless, but he can be lawless.
Yeah, he said that. You know, let's just pull this out on some man-to-man shit. I mean, me just being a man my whole life, I ain't never turned to another man and been like, yo, man, nigga Steve packing fair, yo. Like, shit. Never have I said that and admired another man's junk like that, man, and spread it around like that. No, that's just, like, that's a whole nother kind of just like question mark over that nigga's head. Like, what are you talking about, dog? You know what I'm saying? Dudes don't do that type shit.
Yeah, man.
Girls do that all the time. They'll compliment each other body parts and say, and they'll touch them and shit. Nigga ain't even like, yo, nigga, like,
yeah,
bro.
That shit.
Who you making happy with that, yo? You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't do that, dog. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Him? Jerry Jones' ass?
Yeah.
What's the deal? Why y'all walking around looking at dicks, yo? What's going on?
I told you, man. Look, they trying to appeal to a different crowd.
No,
man.
they ain't. No, don't throw that on them.
They trying to appeal to a different crowd, man.
You ain't never seen RuPaul come out and be on some shit like that. Never. You know what I'm saying? Come on, dog. We go to the restroom. You know the urinal rule, dog. You look straight ahead, dog. Nobody look down, up, or around, dog. Urinal nigga.
Trump ain't got no friends. Didn't nobody tell him that
like,
shit.
Nigga, you can rob a nigga in the urinal, dog. Ain't nobody looking around. That shit's a straight ahead look, nigga. You don't look down. You pee, you get your ass out of there. Here this nigga is right here just fucking admiring eggplants, to say a better word.
And tell the whole country about it.
Niggas on his platform, fool. Like,
Yes.
You're running for president.
He was in a
It
rally.
ain't even like two people at dinner.
He was at a rally.
We didn't catch
that
him
was on
slipping and
TV.
saying it. You know what I'm saying? He said this in
Bro.
a public speech.
He was at a rally that was on TV, nationally televised on multiple platforms, and he said that shit.
Yeah.
Like you said, Steve, no filter. He does
Lack
not
of decision
understand.
making.
He has a horrible, like you said, lack of decision making, no filter. He does not understand like proper rhetoric. He never has. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Saying shit. He said shit whole countries in front of everybody. Like, you know, he says things that racist and fascists want to say out loud, but they don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is not a racist statement or anything like that, but it shows that he does not have, like you said, a filter. He makes bad decisions, and he is not, I guess the word they want to, I don't even know if this word even exists anymore, politically correct. Like, he don't say shit that he should or should not say. He doesn't understand the difference. That to me means his brain's twisted.
This is where stuff like that comes out and bites you on the ass, okay? If you don't understand how to keep your mouth shut, if you don't understand how to adhere to norms, if you don't understand how to respect different cultures, which he doesn't understand how to do any of these things. He goes to meet with foreign leaders.
Thank you.
With no filter. What the hell is he going to say? And
Exactly.
especially when you get out of the West. When you get, you talking to somebody in England, they might think he's crazy, okay? In France, they might think he's crazy. But he goes and deals with a leader whose culture might not be quite as familiar with. He could easily offend.
Yeah.
I mean, he offends people in the West. Okay, real talk. He offends them motherfuckers all the time, okay? But, certain African countries, certain cultures, it's different, In the Far East, what we think is cool, they might not think is cool.
Exactly.
And he doesn't understand those things, and he doesn't have a filter, and he doesn't have discernment to be able to deal with things that a president should deal with.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And it shows.
I don't want him to be that person in the room negotiating shit for us. I don't know what the fuck he's gonna say. Because like you said, he says shit on camera that he shouldn't say at a rally in front of thousands of people. And it's on TV in front of millions, and he says crazy shit. And the problem is, he's not gonna have somebody in that room with him to say, he didn't mean this. Because you can't say that in front of Trump. Because you don't know how he always says shit, and people are like, well, what he meant was, like after the fact, they always go on
Fox News?
on the interview. Yeah, Fox News. They always say, he didn't mean that. Well, those are the words he said. Why don't that motherfucker say the words he means then? If he means what you saying, why didn't he say what the fuck he's saying? And guess what? When he's in that room negotiating with Kim Jong-un or whoever the fuck he's talking to, or, Putin, there's not going to be anybody in there with the balls to say, excuse me, the president's crazy. He didn't mean that. What he meant was ABC. Because he means what the fuck he says. He just don't, like you said, he doesn't understand how to act right.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a time and a place. I mean, from a guy that likes to, make people laugh and do shit like that, there's a time and a place where you trying to be funny. You crack a joke, We've all been at work and done public speaking, you know what I'm saying? At our job, had to speak in front of people. And every now and then you might get up there and you might try to crack a little joke just to break the monotony or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. You know what I'm saying? But that's going to be an appropriate joke that kind of fits the occasion just to get the thing off. This motherfucker thinks people are joking all the time. Or, time out, not him. His loyalists want us to believe that he's always on joke mode all the time. Sometimes he is. Sometimes he isn't. He's serious as a motherfucker, but they want to write it off as a joke. You know what I'm saying? Especially when he says racist shit. No, he's serious about that shit. That's why he said it. That's what was on his head. When he said it takes $60,000 to bury a Mexican, he meant that shit. That wasn't a joke. You know what I'm saying?
Steve's point, you got to understand when you can joke and when you can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And the thing is, but I get tired of his supporters when he says fucked up shit trying to tell us that's a joke.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying?
It's not.
I don't want a president that fucking jokes all the fucking time.
Yeah. Or you can't tell what is a joke and what he means.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he does it, like you said, all the time.
All the time. Well, he doesn't do it all the time. They just write it off as that shit. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was a joke. He was just being, I can't take a joke. He says the meanest shit about women.
Yeah.
He means that shit.
He means it.
He means that. That's not a joke, motherfucker. He might have said it as a joke, but sometimes you say things as a joke, but you really mean what you saying and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, nah. And with this bullshit about Arnold Palmer, nobody asked him about that shit.
Yeah.
Wasn't like they was talking about some shit and all of a sudden Arnold Palmer's name came up. Arnold Palmer ain't even here no more.
Arnold Palmer did come up. His dick ain't come up.
I think there was something connection to Arnold Palmer at the place that he was at. I give him that much. I mean, nobody brought it up. He brought it up, like you said. But there's a connection to the event that he was at.
Yeah, I mean, but what the fuck? Like I said, in the day in the story, like why you bringing that up right now?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and let me ask y'all something, okay? You and your job, okay? And I get being funny. I get, cracking jokes, making people laugh. Okay. We all work in offices. Okay. One of y'all said, what? I was in the bathroom the other day in front of everybody. You seen Bobby in the mailroom's package? How long would you be in that job?
Oh, shit.
You would be fired. You would be fired immediately. The freaking presidential campaign is a damn job interview. He didn't fucking fail the damn job interview already. He should be, he should not get this damn job.
Hey, he failed for many reasons, you know what I'm saying?
They give him that entertainment curve, but that's the problem, right? He ain't there to entertain us, though, dog. That's the thing.
Yes.
He's failed for...
That shit was funny, but still.
He's failed for several reasons, man, and some of his
funny for the wrong
people
reasons.
that work for him are telling us exactly some of the shit that he said that, we want to talk about next, because praising Hitler's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, it is.
Retired four-star General John Kelly, who was Donald Trump's White House chief of staff, told the New York Times that Donald Trump once said, "I need the kind of generals that Hitler had." Mm-hmm. Ace, what do comments like these say about Donald Trump's mental state?
Well, mentally, I mean, and we can talk towards that. I'm not going to call him crazy on this part. I honestly been saying from the beginning that I think the far right wing and part of the Republican Party is modeling us after 1930s Germany. I've been saying it. If you look at it, it's scary. If you look at the playbook, you got a charismatic leader. You know what I'm saying? You write up a doctrine. Germany did the same thing. That basically takes away all the democratic power of the government. That's what Project 2025 is. You know what I'm saying? From day one, transferring all the power over to one person. He's fitting right into that playbook when he says that. You get generals that on command are going to do crazy things. What you think the Blitzkrieg and all of that stuff that happened in Germany? Why do you think they went and started throwing people into concentration camps? Where do you think that comes? That's called mass deportation. It's the same thing they're saying. Same thing they did in Germany. They rounded up all the Jews and threw them in concentration camps, threw them out the country. Same thing they're going to do. They want to do with the Hispanics and the Latinos. You know what I'm saying? And you guys need to stop dividing yourselves and thinking he ain't talking about all of y'all. He's talking about anybody that he feels is an immigrant from the southern region. He's not talking about anybody from Canada or northern region or anybody from Eastern Europe. They're not talking about those immigrants. They're talking about the ones that come in from southern countries. So his relation with Hitler, I think, is the one thing we're talking about that's serious business, and he's really cognitive about that because I think that's been their agenda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what makes it even scarier is this. In a way, he's similar to Hitler because with Hitler, his generals knew his ass was dangerous. They steady were trying to kill him. Mm-hmm. He had like a ridiculous number of assassination attempts from his own fucking people because he knew he was dangerous.
Look at Valkyrie.
Yes. Okay. So you have that, okay? You look at Trump, everybody who was around him, vice president, secretary of freaking the Defense, Secretary of State,
Attorney General.
Yes. Everybody is like, oh, this motherfucker didn't know what he was doing. He's dangerous. Same thing. The only difference is they ain't trying to kill him because they ain't in that position.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing. When the people who are around you the most have no faith in your leadership, you are not a good leader. He is a good entertainer. He understands numbers. He looks at things like it's a TV show. And running the country is not a TV show. So things might look good from an optics perspective, but they might be bad for the country.
Let me touch on that real quick, man. Understanding that one number is bigger than another number is not understanding numbers. That's kindergarten shit. And that's all he understands. He wants to see high numbers. My numbers were bigger than someone's. He don't understand numbers like that. He understands a bigger number and a smaller number. And that's the end of his fucking understanding and comprehension right there. Because he ain't that smart of a motherfucker. Secondly, I hear what y'all are saying. Yes, he purposefully wants all of this shit. He wants to be like Hitler. He wants to have generals that are like Hitler's generals. He wants all of that shit because he wants complete loyalty to him. He does not care about loyalty to our country. He does not care about loyalty to the Constitution. He cares about loyalty to him. That, to me, is crazy. Mm-hmm. Do you think Hitler was crazy? Mm-hmm. Well, if you want to be like Hitler, don't that make you crazy too? Mm-hmm. I mean, just because he has a plan to be like Hitler, don't mean he's not crazy. And I'm not saying that y'all are saying he's. I'm not saying that y'all are saying that. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. He crazy. Yeah. Something is wrong with the man who admits to anyone in private. He didn't have to say that shit publicly. Mm-hmm. If I said some crazy shit to you in private, what you gonna think I'm crazy? Mm-hmm. You gonna be like, something wrong with Malik, bro. You gonna come tell my friends and shit like, Walanda, did you know that Malik? You know what I'm saying?
I won't come to your wife like that.
I don't know. Probably not my wife. But Steve, Tina, somebody, you gonna be like, look,
I'm hoping she knows.
Like, Tina, talk to Malik. Talk to Walanda about Malik because he done went off his rocker. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like some shit like that. But at the end of the day, man, if he goes to somebody he thought this motherfucker trusted him. He thought he could trust him. Mm-hmm. He thought it would never get told. He thought no one would know that he said that shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the deal, man, and you touched on it. We're going after the Department of Education because we want people to know anything. The further we get away from World War II and understanding people not understanding who Hitler was and what he did and how he was trying to take over the fucking world. I mean, real life fucking comic book villain. You know what I'm saying? Like real life. Probably the biggest thing that we had on this shit. Honestly, trying to take over the world. You know what I'm saying? You're creating that character here, and as much as you laugh at him and joke at him and saying shit like that, he's got the things in the wheels in fucking motion to be in that same position. Yeah. He didn't make this shit up. Like I said, you look at it, if you lay it line by line, and I've done this shit to look at it and research it, and it was like, this is some scary shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Plain and simple. Like you said, he's going after the Constitution. This is what confuses me about black people. That's all we got. Our protections are in the Constitution. He gets rid of the Constitution and says, oh, yeah, we'll just let them divide it by the states. Well, hell, Mississippi may think about the state laws that they have on the books, bringing them back, which is segregation, you know what I'm saying, second-class citizenship.
Serfdom.
Yeah, and taking our voting rights away. That shit's protected in the Constitution. So that's why when they have blacks for Trump and all that stupidity and shit like that, I don't understand it, man. I just can't.
And also, again, to get back to like what we were saying about what he has said to the people around him, he also said, well, why don't we just, we having these problems with the cartels in Mexico, why don't we just bomb Mexico? Mm-hmm. He doesn't, the stuff that he says that he will do is stuff, people always talk about needless wars, this, that, and the other. The reason we didn't get into a whole bunch of crazy ass wars when he was in office was because the people around him were like, no, sir, you can't do that. No, sir, that would be a bad idea because of blah, blah, blah. A second Trump administration is not going to look like that. He's not going to have people telling him
no guardrails.
Yeah, because the people who would tell him no, you can't do that aren't going to get put in a cabinet. He's not going to have those type of experts. It just rounds about to what we've been saying this whole program. It's not everything he does is it's poison.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, man, anybody who says anything about wanting to have generals like Hitler, I don't care who the fuck you are, that you crazy. Something's wrong with you. So that's that. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the comments. We're going to spend some time today just going over the comments that we got on YouTube and Facebook. Show some love to some of these people out here and have some conversation around some of their questions and some of their concerns. So we're going to start off. Peter J. Milner was on the house. Peter's back. He said that, he had an infection, so he was down and out for a minute, but he's back. So thanks, Peter, for joining us as always. We got Queen Tina's in the house. She was talking all kind of shit on here. We'll get to some of her comments. When we talked about the dance party, Peter said maybe Trump was inspired by the Village People. So, like you said, kind of like this. He probably had some underground.
Maybe he went to the YMCA and shit.
Yeah,
young man.
Yeah, Tina said, "Yep, he wants a cabinet that are yes men and women." So my homeboy Fernando Ramirez is in the house. He says, "Critics are complaining about every little thing Kamala says, but they don't complain about the truckload of nonsense Trump spews." What do y'all say about that?
Yeah, I can see that. Like, they. He said Van Jones hit it up, man. Like, she has to be flawless. He gets to be lawless. Like, but I mean, you can say that Kamala, you can say Joe Biden, whoever he's running against. You can say it in the primaries. I mean, hell, he didn't even show up to the primaries.
Yeah, well, he showed up he was in the primaries. He didn't show up to the debates.
Yeah. I'm just saying, but this dude's got the biggest pass I've ever seen anybody have ever. You know what I'm saying? And no, that is definitely truth to that. Yeah,
I agree. Like you said, Van Jones said she has to run the 110 meter hurdles in high heels, go to the finish line, do a double backflip somersault, and land it perfectly. And people still complain about how she ran the race. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's crazy, man.
I think some of the things that people expect Kamala Harris to say, she's not going to say because she's the vice president. It's like they're expecting you. If there's something that you see that you feel Joe Biden did wrong, you ain't gonna trash your boss.
No,
not while you still working for him.
Exactly.
That's just don't. That's just something you don't do.
Your job. Nobody does that. Yeah, Who does that?
Yeah, you don't do that. So when they say, "Well, she didn't give a good answer on how they left Afghanistan," could she have said, "You know what? That was something we had to do because Trump." Again, invited the Taliban in without the Afghan government and signed off saying that we were going to leave. Joe Biden extended that shit a couple of months to try to get shit together, but at some point, Trump had already said we were going to leave. So he he had to honor that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure Harris could have said, well, we could have done it differently. But you know what? That's, you're going to freaking, quarterback after the game's over. What the hell? Yeah. Shit. Of course you can look back at something later on and say you could have done something differently.
Yep.
But you can't. I mean, if that's your boss and somebody's asking you something about it, what kind of respect does that show for you to say that as you're running while that person's still in office, while you're still their vice president?
That's kind of like why General John Kelly didn't say what he said while he was working for him. Mm-hmm. He knew all the shit, but he waited until after the fact. Why are you going to say that while you serving under him? Your job probably at that time is to try to protect America from shit. But
half the people who say that shit, they boss doing some fucked up shit right now that they ain't saying and shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be quiet, man.
Let's get back to some of these comments. We got Pastor V. He jumped on here. He said, "What's up, fam? What's up, Pastor V?" One of our friends of the show. Peter also said, "To think that Trump knows everything is a disaster waiting to happen on every level, and clearly demonstrates his political ineptness, as you always rely on your advisors when you blame them later on if it's wrong."
Even Kingz did that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Larry Sizer. What's up, Dr. Sizer? He said, "Trump is an idiot. Only outdone by the people that follow his dumb ass," which I agree with wholeheartedly. And we got some people following his dumb ass that was in the comment section too These people are. I'm gonna get to them. Insane, bro. People don't got no sense. They don't use their own fucking brains.
Look, even if you ain't supporting, we appreciate you watching.
Yeah,
though.
we appreciate you watching. I appreciate the conversation.
Appreciate your comment.
It helps me understand like the mind of a lunatic. FLL, what's up? FLL said Andy's a felon, which is true.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got.
He's a felon. He ain't had to do no time, had to do nothing.
Exactly.
He's walking the streets.
Rich AJ Field says crazy. He's crazy.
Ain't on monitor. Ain't got a PO.
Okay, so here's one. Conspiracy lyricist says, y'all are talking like he hasn't already been president before. You act like you want more war or something. When did we say that?
Okay, and I actually responded to that because I
When
said,
did we say that though?
But I did also say
We want war? We said
no,
we
I
wanted
didn't say,
war?
no, we didn't say we
Okay,
wanted
I'm
war.
wondering.
But I'm saying we did
'Cause he-
respond to that.
obviously
I
his
said the
brain is
only
flying
reason
off somewhere.
the only reason that we didn't, because we would have gotten into a war with a few people because Trump's response to shit was, well, why don't we just bomb them?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're saying, why don't we just bomb them? And the generals are saying, sir, you can't do that because blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know, whatever reasons they were giving. That's why, okay? Number one. Number two, America itself is not in a whole bunch of wars, partner. Who are we at war with? Israel's at war with somebody. Ukraine is at war with somebody, and we might be giving them a little aid, but America's not at war with anybody.
We always giving people.
But help
aid,
me
man.
understand how saying that Trump has a mental illness, he has something's wrong with him, means we want war. That does not mean we want war. And having Kamala, if that's what he's trying to say, well, having Kamala means you want war. When the fuck did she say she want a war? Never. So you just jumping out there saying some crazy shit. My response to him was, we want somebody with a fully functioning brain. That's what the fuck we want. We don't want a crazy fucking president.
Well, and then that's part of the spin that they're doing from there is that if you don't vote for Trump, then we're going to have a weak president. We're going to go to war. That's part of what they're coming from with that.
Someone who can't have a focused thought and say something, have a phrase even to say, hey, I want A. He can't even do that. He does something that he made an excuse for called the weave. Because he can't stay focused on one fucking topic. That's who you want to be your president? That's like, okay, we said we got Joe Biden. We said his mental acuity is not where it needs to be. He's fucking up. Dude went on a debate and made a fool of himself. And guess what? I don't want him. I'm sorry. He has the experience. He has the understanding. He has the knowledge. His brain, he has a lot of great information in his brain. But he's not... His mental capacity may be going down some. Do I want that person to be the president? Nah, I don't. Y'all complained about that shit. Y'all said that was bad. Your dude's doing it now. Say the same fucking thing.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They gonna say that thing.
Yeah, and with all due respect, I want you, brother who made that comment, I want you to look at something, okay? Look at history, okay? At some point, you got to stand up to people, okay? And Trump, he's buddies with Putin. Putin. He'll lay down for Putin. So you might not have had conflict 4 years ago because he was laying down, agreeing to whatever Putin wanted. Hence, how he basically embarrassed the Ukrainian president and weakened them in the world stage. That's one of the reasons why we ended up with a war in the Ukraine. Which, by the way, we're not fighting in the Ukraine, okay? No. But we did end up with that war because Trump weakened the Ukraine in the world stage, okay? And people don't understand. You look at the things that happened before World War II. Mm-hmm. The things that
I know you're going with this.
Yeah, the things that Hitler put in place, how he was invading different places and everything, and he was invading all sorts of places in North Africa, and nobody said shit. Mm-hmm. Nobody did shit.
Yep.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Nobody did anything. And then when he started invading all the other European countries, then it was a problem.
Mm-hmm. So what do you say to conspiracy lyricist comment back to you? He says America is funding wars in Europe and Israel.
America has always been funding wars. Look, this is the thing. If you want to say America's funding wars, there has never been a time since America has been the quote unquote leader of the free world that America hasn't funded wars, for better or worse. Okay? Mm-hmm. And sometimes we know about it. Sometimes it's public. Sometimes it's not. If you look at what happened in Central America, in Bolivia, in those types of places, we funded that shit. We funded, all sorts of shit getting overthrown. So that's not new. Yeah. And if you think Trump is going to stop that, then you're sorely mistaken.
It's too much money. Ford makes more money making tanks than cars, man. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, another comment. I got another one from Conspiracy Lyrist. He loves to argue and make his points. So I appreciate you. Appreciate the conversation, brother. So Conspiracy Lyrist says it would show integrity if Kamala would be honest. It's not like Biden was going to fire her. So to your point about like, hey, you can't say shit about your boss. Your boss is going to fire you. You said she wasn't going to get fired. It'd been nice if she'd been honest. Now, I want to respond to that first, and then I'll let you guys say what you got to say about it. I think that at the end of the day, you have to be, as a president and as a vice president, you have to be supportive of your boss. It's just like General John Kelly. Like I said, when he was under Trump, he supported him. He knew shit. It's obvious. Mm-hmm. He knew some shit that was said that he didn't agree with. Yeah. He knew some shit that was said that did not make him comfortable. So when you say Kamala should have said that, I guess Kelly should have did the same fucking thing. To your point, you act like, well, it would have been nice if you'd been honest. It would have been nice. We could be sitting here saying it would have been nice if John Kelly would have told us what he said about Hitler as soon as it happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The same thing. So, I mean, if you expect Kamala to do something, expect his people to do the same thing. Pence ain't supporting him. Mm-hmm. Been nice if Pence would have said some bullshit about Trump when he was in office too, but I don't hear you saying that.
I was gonna say
I don't hear y'all motherfuckers saying, well, Pence should have told about the stuff he didn't like about Trump when Trump was in office. You don't care about that shit. But once again, to the point that we made about Van Jones, the point we made about Kamala having to do fucking backflips and shit, you expect her to do things that you don't want anyone else to do. Yeah. That's not fucking fair, and it's not fucking reasonable. Now, it don't even have to be fair. It's not fucking reasonable. How are you asking, well, she should have did this, she should have did that. So should have Pence? And so, secondly, I guess all the things that, just to add to that, if y'all keep saying that everything is Kamala's fault because she was in office. Well, I guess, if you're saying that Kamala is running the presidency, then I guess Pence was running everything when Trump was in charge. Yeah. So don't give credit to Trump for anything. If everything that happened was Kamala's fault and she has to own it, then guess what? Pence is the one that owns all the things that Trump did well.
All the great things, right?
Yeah.
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 I think also part of what it is this. People always are so quick to trash Biden. Did Biden make a few mistakes? Yes. I think what happened in Afghanistan, I feel like that probably should have been handled differently. I feel like we say fuck you to a lot of shit we signed. I think he probably should have kept maybe like 1,000 troops in Afghanistan. That's what I think. But also, I come from a military family. Grandfather military, father military. And I think that sometimes we have that military mindset. And I also realize maybe that wasn't a good idea, but I think that could have happened, okay? However, okay, for the most part, decisions are thought out decisions. They're not dumb decisions. Sometimes there's decisions I might not agree with, but they're just not bonehead, stupid decisions, okay? Yeah. I feel like the situation with the Remain in Mexico with Trump, the problem with our country is this. We don't have enough people doing the labor that we need. We need people to come in here and work in these fields, okay? We need that, okay? We need people to work at some of these jobs that people who are coming here, quote unquote, illegally are doing. Why is it that Trump didn't say, you know what? Let me make it so we can get the right number of people coming in this country. And we can get people coming in on paper so we know everybody who is coming in and make it fair instead of demonizing immigrants, okay? And conspiracy listeners, I appreciate you coming in on these comments because it's hard to listen to somebody and you're disagreeing with them the whole time. So I appreciate you being on here, even if it is just being on here just to disagree. But you can't make that your main, and that's really, to me, that's the Republicans' main thing is immigration. And I'm like, if all the motherfuckers who wasn't supposed to be here got up and left tomorrow, Texas would fall apart. Florida would fall apart. Arizona would fall apart. So what we need to do is...
The agriculture industry would fall apart.
Totally fall apart. So what we need to do is, and I feel like Democrats and Republicans take this shit way too far. Do we need to know who's here? Yes. Do we need... If somebody comes over here and they commit a crime, throw their ass in jail, throw them up under the fucking jail, whatever. But you can't have people that you need and then turn around and demonize the same motherfuckers that you need here.
Yeah.
That's just not right.
Nope. Hey, let me just add one last comment and then we're going to cut out, man, because, we at that time. Brother got to get his, his daily, not his weekly Saturday lunch
we know
special.
what time it is. Shout out to Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, we need a motherfucking sponsorship. All right, so... I got one last comment, man. Malat Kohli, what's going on, brother? Glad you joined the show.
Yeah, and thanks for all the shares. I saw him sharing the live stream,
all
man,
kind of videos. Appreciate
that.
you, dog.
Much love, man.
All right. African bloodline Americans, men and women, seriously, let's talk. All of lives in our generations to come will be affected by these critical elections. Why not Kamala Harris for president? I'm voting for Kamala and Democrats for my top 3 critical issues, which are guaranteed constitutional protections and freedoms, guaranteed ethical courts that are held accountable,
there you go,
and Republicans and Trump are fully openly connected to Project 2025, new modern day Jim Crow agendas, and multiple white supremacy groups and individuals, which will bring out the destruction and victimization of African bloodline Americans now and for generations to come. Salute to you, my friend. Appreciate the comments and the info because a lot of people don't know a lot of the things that you commented on here. You heard my brothers, the Kingz in the house, saying amen to everything that you said.
It ain't a game.
It ain't a game at all, man.
I'm saying it ain't a game, and we have some people that are asleep at the wheel, man, thinking that just out here pretending or falling into the rhetoric, man. It ain't a game when it comes to black people and their rights, man.
Yes, sir. And so, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
I'm saying we out of everybody we got, we the ones that have to fight for our rights, man. We had to fight to vote. Mm-hmm. We had to fight to be equal. We had to fight to fucking eat in a goddamn restaurant and not walk through the back door. We had to fight to get to the front of the bus. I mean, and I think our generations forget that. We still got people living there, my mom and your mom and other people who lived that. That's what they lived through, man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So to sit up here and play with a person like Trump, and that's what you're doing when you're supporting him. Play with him and allowing him to put that type of stuff back on the agenda and being a possibility of going away. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And hurting what he's talking about doing with the unions, if you look at the interview with Elon Musk, these working class jobs, a lot of black people are doing these working class jobs. And again, even if you're not black, listen to what he said about the unions. Listen to what he said about that and ask yourself, if somebody is not willing to protect your rights to collective bargain, to say what you feel is fair and not fair in your workplace, is that somebody you really want in office? You want somebody in office who's not going to look out for you as a worker? Yeah.
Yeah, man. I agree wholeheartedly. I think at the end of the day, man, you have to be, like I said earlier, if you notice what was happening with Joe Biden, then you see what's happening with Trump. He ain't hiding it. He can't hide it because when your brain starts malfunctioning, it just does, and you don't even understand that you're doing it sometimes.
He's old, shit.
And he's old. We all will decline in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? And it's just natural. And when we see it happening, I mean, we just calling it out. But at the end of the day, everybody who came on here to hang with us and talk with us and things like that, I appreciate you guys coming on here, dropping your comments. I don't care what your political affiliation or opinion is. I may not agree with it, but I'm going to make it known. I'm going to share your comments, and we're going to have a discussion around it. So if you want to listen to us talk about the topics we're going to talk about and leave your comments, we're going to come back at the end and have a discussion with y'all. So, I mean, just to keep it thorough, we not going to pull no punches, and we don't want y'all to neither. We want y'all, your full your full opinion and all the commentary that you got. So thank you guys for joining us. And, we will check y'all out again next week. Peace.